And welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in our the brand new podcast, which I'm trying to get sorted. See if we can keep to a schedule. But I'm joined by three very special guests. Hopefully, I'm joined by the Cop Council, Connor. You might jump in anyway. So if you're like, "Whoa, all right, Connor," but hopefully he pops in. But no worries. But if anyone's out there and you're listening or you're watching and you would like to jump on, you're very much welcome. You don't have to be a Liverpool fan. I think in the coming weeks and months, I think it's very important for the football community to get together and discuss a variety of topics. Racism drives that evil out of the game. Ownership, ticket prices, kit prices as well. Sky, BT, UEFA, the absolute lot really. And thank you very much for Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. We've got Josh on. Josh has just started his brand new Chelsea channel as well. So make sure you do head over to both lads' channels. And of course, my good mate Douglas. Ricky, and Josh, thank you very much, lads, for coming on. Ricky, in tonight's episode, everyone, we will be discussing, obviously, we'll discuss about the little protests to start off the episodes, everyone, that are happening in and around Arsenal Football Club at the minute. Hopefully everyone is safe, but it's important that fans' voices do get heard as well. And I think it won't be the last set of protests going around the Premier League and possibly world. Obviously, everyone keeps safe in the current pandemic in which we do find ourselves in. Wear your masks and everything. But Ricky, I haven't spoke to you since the last crazy 48 hours, mate. But I just wanted to gauge your thoughts on what has transpired over the last 48 hours. It's been a crazy couple of days for Liverpool Football Club, mate. What was your instant reaction of the sheer arrogance from all these owners?
Embarrassed to be a Liverpool fan at the minute. I'm in one a boys group, WhatsApp group, and we're all having a bit of banter, and they all support different clubs. At least now Liverpool might be able to sign Mbappe and Haaland if we get the 300 million that we were going to get given. But all jokes aside, it's embarrassing. How these 6 clubs have the audacity to try and do something on their own without everyone else. Poor. Then there's rumours that we've paid 8 million to get into it. How do you pay 8 million to get into something you know ain't gonna take off? It ain't got the backing of anyone, competition wise. And then you just get another apology off John Henry that he read off a screen. Thanks for that. You just dragged the whole club through the mud. You made them look embarrassing. And then it's come out again today that Michael Edwards knew nothing about it.
Yeah, it was a scary aspect, wasn't it, Ricky? And it's everyone at the club. We all watched, everyone, rival fans as well included, watch Jurgen Klopp and the players get basically thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the night before as well. The same thing happened. There was rumours and murmurs before the game, but obviously what transpired was something that we know these football owners haven't got a clue about football. They're all American, but it's crazy, Ricky. And you've got big figures at the football club. You got the likes of Kenny Dalglish, Jurgen Klopp for the. He's the people within the football club. Even if they asked one person, Ricky, like a Dalglish, we've got a feeling we're going to go down this way. It was just. They can't believe just didn't ask anyone.
No, and the thing with Jurgen Klopp when he had the interview after the Leeds game, I'm not Gary Neville's biggest fan, but I do like him as a pundit. And to see them two go at each other after the game, like two people that have been protesting this Super League crap, to then start to sort of turn on each other a little bit, it's just a shambles. And we all know why the Real Madrid guys at the top of it. I guess everyone was paying Real Madrid to get into it by the sound of it, to get them out of debt. So, but yes, and to throw Jurgen Klopp, a man that's brought us the Champions League, the Premier League, he's in love with the fans, he's in love with the club, and they just threw him under the bus. I wouldn't have blamed him if he walked away.
Yeah, that's the scary part. And Ricky, Doug, I'll ask Josh in a little second the point of view from the Chelsea's perspective. Doug, I've spoken, well, me and you've spoken since I've met you, I've always told you, and I've told the channel really, and I've always been on the fence with FSG, but it's the ticket price and the naming of the copywriting of trying to copyright Liverpool, furloughing staff as well, Doug. It's
Yeah.
what's transpired over the last couple of days is the realization from a lot of football fans, whatever club colours you do wear, that it's we need to finally, at long last, take a stand. Is there a lot of lessons? Well, there has been a lot of lessons that have been learned from FSG. Do you think they will learn from this?
It's a good question. I mean, for me, they've made more mistakes than they've made successes. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think I had my wee rant last night over on Connor's channel. Look, the thing is that this whole episode for me has put me FSG out, and I know Ricky's been FSG out for a long, long time. But I know you've been on the fence, Jack. But does an event like this kind of make you feel FSG out? Because they've clearly gone behind Klopp's back. They've gone behind the players' back. And even Michael Edwards doesn't even know about that either. So their trust is going to have to be regained. Will it be regained? That is another matter. But I think there's a lot of forgiveness that they're going to have to try and receive. But unfortunately, I just think this is going to be a wee while now. I don't see anybody backing the owners after this.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. And Josh, it's what's been the fallout from a Chelsea perspective, mate? Obviously, it's all the top six sides of the fans have rightly so reacted. You've seen the Chelsea bus getting stopped by all those protesters. And Petr Cech coming out, it was like 30 seconds later or 5 minutes later, Chelsea pulled out instantly. So I think Petr Cech, his reaction to it, and it's good that you've got big personalities within the football club. He gets Chelsea. He's played for them for countless years. And by the way, do you reckon Petr Cech had a big impact in the decision making at the top of Chelsea?
I actually do think he did. I don't know of how much involvement he had in the whole, actual European Super League itself. But I think him going out and publicly speaking to the protesters on camera, definitely played a part, because I definitely think there was a whole PR stunt. There's the Chelsea fans blocking the bus. They're outside of Stamford Bridge. Czechs out seeing them. They're singing their protest against the Super League, and conveniently Chelsea pull out. I definitely think that was a PR stunt from Chelsea. Obviously, it was right that we were pulling out, but the timing of it was just so convenient. So I would like to think Chelsea would have probably preferred to done it after the game, not just before the game. So I definitely think it was the protests and Czech and all playing a big part. Now, regarding us as a football club and to our board, there's no hate to Abramovich in any shit way or form. It seems like Bruce Buck, our chairman, is the guy who's getting all the hate. Apparently, he was the one who was in charge of dealing with it in London on the bridge with the players, with the other board members, and apparently his handling of it has been an absolute disgrace. His communication about it has been an absolute disgrace. So Abramovich is clear. We're not calling for Abramovich out. We're calling for our chairman, Bruce Buck, to go out. Obviously, Bruce Buck isn't a major. He doesn't make transfers. He doesn't decide the money. So it's completely. It's like it's light and day between the difference between him being at the club in PSG and the Glazers being at Liverpool and United. But our board isn't fully clear, but obviously, Petr Cech's even more of a legend than he was after what he did, because that took some bloody balls to go out there and pretty much risk his health, risk getting COVID, risk getting bloody hit by the protesters to go and just try and say some calm words. So I think I was proud of Czech, I was proud of Abramovich, I was proud of the board, except for Bruce Buck. And I think Chelsea fans won't go and protest at Stamford Bridge asking for Bruce Buck to go out, but he definitely is under a bit of heat from the Premier League and the Chelsea fans.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. It's going to be very interesting how this all transpires over the next coming weeks and months. We've seen from the meeting, from all discussions and transcripts coming out at a Premier League meeting today, the leading clubs in the Premier League, all 14, one at least, the likes of Bruce Buck, the people within these clubs as well, Edwards was, the they want them never to step foot in a meeting between all the 20 clubs ever again. I think I think that's important, and it Doug, that coming off the back of this, that for the fans as well, it's these people that are meant to be they're in such privileged positions within these football clubs and businesses. Yes, football is a business, but like any brand, if you seem to going against your values of your brand even, and just not understanding your brand to that certain extent, that surely people's heads have to roll. And I think that is part of the transition from, yes, the fans' anger, but we need to see some change from these big football clubs. We can't just say, oh, he's allowed to keep his job. We, as John Henry said himself, he shouldered the whole responsibility. But there needs to be a couple of Alan Sugar moments. You're fired.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. And the thing is now, I think the 50+1 ownership thing, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. If that is the way that we go forward as a football club, and the Premier League has the 50+1, because you've seen it quite clearly. It works in the Bundesliga. I think there's only 2 German clubs who actually have I think investment owners. I think
in RB Leipzig and Wolfsburg, I think.
Yeah, but apart from that, the 50+1 rule works in Germany. I could easily see it working in England.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. And obviously, that's gonna be the big point. If anyone out there listening or watching really gets a lot more understanding about the German model, I think a lot of fans will be doing a lot of research into it. I know I will be watching a lot of documentaries on YouTube, the power of YouTube. But if there's any German fans or German Bundesliga fans out there, I want to get involved in the comment section below. Your comments will be greatly appreciated. As we've seen, we talked about the protests that are happening currently as we're recording this at Arsenal. The will be probably the first of many protests up and down the country, but hopefully everyone is safe and proper. And it's Arsenal fans have been 50-50. I think obviously in the time of Arsene Wenger, the restrictions in terms of his transfer budget and bringing players in to the football club. But Ricky, that's going to be the case, and it's not going to be a case of like a lot of owners will do. And I think I was speaking to Doug and we've been speaking to you over the last couple of months. It's going to be a case of FSG, most importantly. As you mentioned, people joking about getting Mbappe and Haaland. Even if FSG or these big owners do sign players, that's not going to paper over the cracks, is it?
No, and I think lunchtime the day after, after the morning of Henry apologising, it was coming out that we're going to go splash a transfer, like breakout record transfer on Sancho. Let's come out again. Apparently the Konate deal was done about an hour after John Henry apologised. We all know Konate is going to happen, but it's when, not if.
Yeah.
I think now it's going to put a bit of pressure on FSG to back Klopp massively in the summer. In a way, certain fans will forgive FSG if they go and get the likes of Mbappe, Haaland, big name players in the club. To me, I don't care. I want you out. You can go sign Mbappe. Good. I'll enjoy watching him every week, scoring goals, but it ain't gonna make up for what you've done. And going back to the 50+1 thing with the ownership sort of thing, a lot of people get confused with what it actually means. So with it, the fan side of it will decide, make key decisions if they want to go into a different league. They want to do. The owners can't do nothing without getting permission, like a joint permission. But when it comes to like transfers and stuff, that's still left to the club and the original owners, like buying players, selling players. That's the fans have got nothing to do with that in a sense. It's just about making key decisions of the club, like building, expanding the stadium and stuff like that. But even Redbird come out and said that they weren't for the Super League. They're going to come out and say that though. But I do now think they take over the club fully a lot quicker than what I thought they were going to take over. I said 5 to 6 years. I now give it about 2 years tops that these will take full ownership over Liverpool, and hopefully FSG pack their bags and go a lot sooner than that. But it's just a mess.
Guys.
Yeah.
Guys, some breaking news just in. Fabrizio Romano's just tweeted, Ibrahima Konate to Liverpool, here we go soon. The deal is set to be completed. Personal terms agreed on a 5-year contract. Liverpool will pay the release clause to RB Leipzig in the next days, around 35 million euros, in order to finalise the signing of Konate.
Took the words out of Ricky's mouth there, Doug. Ricky's got Fabrizio's number, I reckon.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, as we've just been talking about the topic, yeah, we can all laugh and joke about it, but I think it is important that we don't forget, and I don't think anyone will forget, from a Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, City perspective as well. It baffled me that Manchester City even went into those talks. I know they don't want to be left behind, and even Chelsea to that extent as well. Both clubs have got a lot of money to spend in windows, but it's crazy. And I know they didn't want to be left behind if the potential of the league was going to happen, mate. But you're spot on there, Ricky. Nice one for letting us know about that rule, the German model. Let us know if you would like the club. It's the thing, innit? It's all right, always saying it, but there needs to be at least legislation without England from the House of Commons and everything. There needs to be real laws in place. And I think that's the big aspect that will be getting discussed throughout the coming years. Really, there needs to be a lot more laws in place to not allow football clubs just to do willy-nilly and just go absolutely mad, because we've seen the likes of Bury, Bolton, Wigan, so many clubs out there that have really struggled at the mismanagement of certain millionaires and billionaires, mate. But Josh, we'll go into the Newcastle game now, mate. What have you thought of Newcastle when you've watched them this season?
Well, honestly, I think they've got a really, really good squad. For Newcastle, and for obviously the amount of money that Mike Ashley spends, which is not very much. They actually have a decent squad, and it's one of the thing that they spent 40 million on Joe Linton, who's obviously been an absolute flop. And then you've got Andy Carroll as well. But then you've got good players like Callum Wilson, St. Maximan. I think Jacob Murphy's a decent player. Jojo Shelby turns up on the odd occasion. So, they have, and Ryan Fraser, though I don't think he's really done much at Newcastle this year. I think he's been quite disappointing compared to what he showed at Bournemouth. So Newcastle are a bit of a dodgy team. They've had a really disappointing season. I don't think, especially after last year, they probably should be nowhere near a relegation fight. Though they have turned up towards the end of the season. They're probably quite safe now, you would think. I don't think Phil will be able to grasp enough points to kind of claw Newcastle back into it. I think Newcastle will. I think we all know Newcastle are going to play a back five here, probably just park the bus against Liverpool, which, given Liverpool's goal scoring issues this season, may cause problems. But I think this is going to be I think this is going to be all about the game where you see Liverpool breaking Newcastle down. I think Klopp needs to pick the right midfield. I think he needs to play two more attacking maybe midfielders and one defensive midfielder, and try and create more chances against Newcastle, because Newcastle are going to park this bus. They'll play a 4-5-1. They'll sit there and they'll try and just hit on the break with Maximan and Callum Wilson. Their game plan is extremely easy to read, but it's a matter of will Klopp be able to select the team, and will the players be able to do the jobs on the pitch? Because if you play your best football, if you play the right players, you'll beat Newcastle. Because I think the Newcastle players know that they're probably safe by now. So Liverpool have more to fight for, hypothetically, than what Newcastle do.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Ricky, it was a very difficult fixture. I think we can all agree at the beginning of the season when we played Newcastle. Josh has hit the nail on the head. We know what the game plan will be for the Toon. Sit behind the ball, soak up pressure. And obviously Nat Phillips is not going to be fully fit, is he?
No, he's not. Yeah.
So it will look like a case of Fabinho going back centre-back. What would be the thoughts in terms of going against Newcastle? What do you want to see really from this game this weekend?
To be honest, I think you could play anyone at centre-back against Newcastle, and Joe Linton ain't scoring. I think he's got to go down as one of the worst signings in the Premier League. I just hope if it's Carl Darlow in goal, he don't turn into Prime Buffon again.
Carl Darlow's injured.
Oh, is he? Nice. But so it'll just be prime beef on his brother.
It's all right. As I
turns
say,
up.
whoever comes in that goal,
Yeah. Like, I'm sure Liverpool make goalkeepers get brand new contracts, bonuses, and record transfer fees to other clubs. It's just madness how these goalkeepers turn up and play against us. But like I said in the podcast yesterday, we was on. I think we absolutely smash them. We're due to beat someone bad at Anfield. And sorry, I do think it will be Newcastle.
Yeah. I'm hoping no one clips that and Jonathan bangs a hat trick again.
Oh, mate, that's me done on podcast. If he scores.
You, Doug, and Josh have listened, and everyone on the channel anyway have listened to my terrible predictions. If you watch back of the channel, there's been some shocker ones. It was a couple of weeks ago. I know I'm Mr. Positive, but sometimes I just take the mickey. I know a lot of people don't like doing predictions, but Doug, Curtis Jones, he's back into the starting lineup. He's fully back training anyway. Would you be intrigued to start? Would you want to see you and go with him? For me personally, I think it's about time we see a lot of Curtis, because I think he's got so much to give, not just the back end of this season, but especially play a big part next season.
Yeah, I think he's more of the future than a certain Wijnaldum that Mr. Ricky just cannot stand. It's simple, really. I think Curtis Jones has to start in this game. I'm with you. I think we do need two other attacking midfielders in that midfield. So my lineup would be obviously Alisson Becker, obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kabak. I think Fabinho will start at the back because of obviously Phillips not being in. I can't see him being Ben Davis, and then it'll be Andy Robertson, and then I think it'll be Wijnaldum, Thiago, Curtis Jones, and then Salah, Mane, Firmino. I think Jota might start on the bench in this game.
Yeah, will be interesting, and I'm hoping the hologram starts. It makes sense for them to start, but he's not even real, I don't think. I think it's photoshopped every time we do to go away in Europe. Him on the plane.
He's Casper the Ghost.
Yeah, someone must be paying some very good graphic designer for these pictures anyway. But yeah, in an ideal world, I'd love to see and play centre back, but it's I don't think Klopp rates him. He's done very. It'd be interesting to see. I don't think he'll stay at the football club. I think he will get loaned out next season, and Liverpool obviously will pursue Konate, as we've already mentioned, and get a potential full-time deal for Ozan. And what a song, everyone. Let me know your thoughts on the Ozan Kabak song, everyone, in the comment section below. Yeah. It's nice and simple, but it's very, very catchy. And I honestly can't wait. Fingers crossed. I've had my second vaccine today. So thank you to everyone that has continued over the last 12 months to social distance. I know I've been at risk. I haven't really been able to go out the house and that. So from my point of view, thank you to every single one of you. And a big, massive thank you to all the key workers and NHS staff as well. Everyone that's taken part. So not thinking selfish, but for people that as well. Because I know it's important that we do think of every single person. And it's not been a very easy time over the last 12 months. And even longer than that as well. So thank you to everyone. And it was only going to be a short one, boys. I know you're very busy tonight. Josh and Doug and Ricky, it's been an absolute pleasure, boys. Thank you
so much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
I'll leave all the links in the description. So go and head over to Ricky, the 1892 Red Podcast. Josh, Josh, do you want to plug your what you've got on your channel, mate?
It's just JVS. That's literally. I keep it basic because I'm very original and a very creative guy. It took me hours to think about that name, but no, it's just JVS on YouTube. I'm just new uploading match previews and Chelsea content and do live streams. So if it's anywhere you want to just hear about football general talk, or if you're interested from a Chelsea point of view, who's not actually too biased, I'm your man.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Ricky, just shout out the work in which you're doing on your channel, matey.
Yeah, channel called the 1892 Red Podcast. Do it with my cousin Luke. We just talk about previews, reviews, transfer news, and just news around the club. And yeah, head over there and give it a like and subscribe.
And Douglas, Mr. Doug, shout out yours as well, mate.
Yeah, it's the Dugout Football channel. You can find me on Twitter at @enrod_992, and you find me on Instagram at Douglas.Horn, and you can find me on Facebook at Douglas James Horn. But yeah, absolute pleasure. I forgot to say a score prediction actually.
Oh, where we go. 2-1.
I'm going to be very conservative. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I do think they will score.
Oh, go ahead.
What 1-0 Liverpool with a Mane 92nd minute goal.
Oh, Josh, why are you doing that to us? Go ahead, Ricky, to play that. Go ahead. What you go?
It'll be a 4-0 Liverpool home win.
Okay, I'm going to be positive again, everyone. You can shout at your screens and your monitors right now. I'm going to go 5-0, Ricky. I'll be right, everyone, thank you for coming on, boys. Everyone at home, keep safe and well. And as I said, this hopefully, if you're watching or listening, everyone, and you would like to get on, you don't have to be a Liverpool fan because, as I said, top of the show, be a lot ranging topics coming up in the coming months. Really, I'd be made up if you could come on the channel because I think people just do get sick of me talking. So it's important that I do get everyone's opinions on whether you agree to disagree with everyone's opinions. That's what's important. It's important that we do get a wide range of opinions as well. Well, thank you for everyone. And if you're listening up till here as well, I'm watching you, absolute legend. But thank you very much. Stay tuned on the channel as well for more daily content. And as always, Reds, you'll never walk alone. And cheers, lads, for coming on. Cheers.